Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Cardboard Kitchen. I am your host, Chef Dan, Daniel, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to call me, whatever the case might be. Um, just go ahead and get this out of the way. If you're new here, please hit that like button, that notification bell, hit the subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. If you stick around and you like some of the other videos, you like the content, leave a comment, let me know you're here. Share the videos with your friends in the various communities you might be in. I would really love for this. I've been doing this content off and on for 2.5, maybe 3 years now. It goes back a while. Um, I have a full time job, and this is something I would prefer to be doing. But bills got to be paid. So it's free to hit the like button. It's free to subscribe. It's free to hit that notification bell. It lets the algorithm know that you like my stuff. Lets me know that you like my stuff. Lets me stay motivated to try and bring you these videos more often as possible. Hopefully to the point where I can do like 2 videos a week, one explanation video, which is what this is going to be, and then hopefully one gameplay video a week. So that way you get twice the fun. Still working on trying to get like a gameplay type setup. I did mention in one of my previous videos that I found a camera that I forgot that I had. So now I just have to find some kind of a mount so that I can get a top-down view to be able to get gameplay footage. Um, so that's kind of in the works. Finding editing software is also kind of in the works. I did have a viewer talk to me about a particular software I could use, so I'm still looking into that. Um, all that kind of fun stuff. I have a Discord set up once I get a Patreon set up so that if you join the Patreon, you get access to the Discord. Um, the problem with that is that my full time job does not allow me to be on my phone, like really ever. So it's when I'm at work, I'm at work for 8.5 hours without using my phone, so I can't really interact with you guys, which I feel is a personal bummer. Um, because I know I've been playing the game for um, I started playing kitchen table stuff in late 99, early 2000. So it's been 20, somewhere between 26 and 27 years. So I've been playing for a while. The game's only been around for, I think, 35, maybe 35, something like that. Um, so I've been around for a while. I've seen a lot of stuff, seen a lot of changes. However, today, I'm going to talk about some stuff that you don't really see that much in the Commander format anymore. Um, if you're new, welcome to Cardboard Kitchen. This is a podcast that I do whenever you know, whatever strikes me for inspiration. Um, it's specifically about the Magic the Gathering Commander format, where I discuss things that I have issues with, things that I like to point out for newer. Podcast is for everybody. If you're new, if you've been playing for a while, if you've been playing longer than I have, some of you out there watching might be playing longer than I've played, so you know more than I know. Um, that being said, I just actually got done uh, having a discussion with one of my buddies about a card coming out in the Marvel superhero stuff. And in our discussion, it got me thinking um, about a couple of things, and I've had a couple of other discussions in the past with a few other people about like certain cards you don't see anymore. Um, so I don't know if I've already made a video about this or not, but this is if I have, this is going to be another one. If I haven't, this is where some of it's going to be. So the main thing that I discussed with my buddy just a little bit ago was that they're printing a new board wipe, uh, or at least it looks like it's a legit card. It's called Avenge or Avengers. Um, it's 4 white, and it says It states in the card, if a player attacked you on their last turn, this spell costs 2 generic less to cast. So if you meet that requirement, instead of it being 4 white white, it's 2 white white. And then the ability is destroy all creatures in play, and you gain 1 life for each creature destroyed this way. Sounds really good. It does have the cost reduction ability in it, which, and the reason I say is because there's another spell called Fumigate. It's 3 white white, that does the same thing. It says destroy every creature in play. You gain 1 life for every creature destroyed this way. It naturally costs 1 cheaper. It doesn't have a built-in cost reduction ability, but it also doesn't have a requirement for a cost reduction ability to be that you got attacked on somebody else's last turn. So I feel like that's kind of important to note. But the discussion we got on was that Wrath of God would be a better option, and thinking about like the deck list that I see popping up and the people that I see playing and all these other things. Noises. I don't know if it's the pets or if it's the critters outside, because that wall, which is where the noise is coming from, borders the exterior. So talking about like if Wrath of God would just be a better option, Wrath of God, Damnation. Wrath of God being white, Damnation being black. They both do the same thing. Wrath of God is 2 generic white white. Damnation is 2 generic black black. They both say destroy each creature in play. Those creatures can't be regenerated. It doesn't have a life gain clause, and it doesn't have any kind of an ability that is a cost reduction clause. But it says they can't be regenerated. I feel like that clause isn't as important anymore. People aren't playing things that can naturally be regenerated through their own abilities, that have an auto regenerative ability, nor are they playing cards that just regenerate their creatures. There are a number of cards in existence that will regenerate target creature or regenerate each creature you control. Most of those cards cost 1 or 2 mana. I think there's 1 or 2 that cost 3, but most of them cost around the range of 2 mana. And so that's where my trade-off of like the Wrath of God and Damnation options aren't as relevant to the format anymore, because nobody's playing regeneration. People are playing, more and more cards are being printed that just destroy and then that's it, or destroy and then give you the extra benefit. So people are playing more things that say my board is indestructible, or things of that nature. Things that say my board can't be destroyed. Versus things that regenerate creatures. And the reason I feel this is a trope is because, like I said, the Wrath of God and the Damnation options say that creatures can't be regenerated, but they don't say anything about like destroy, life gain options. All the other cards that a lot of people are using say destroy these creatures, gain life, or something of that nature. They don't have the can't be regenerated clause in them. And I feel like that's kind of a relative point, because you don't necessarily have to find more options to make your board indestructible. You can just play, you can denote a couple of slots to things that regenerate your entire board, so that when somebody's like, hey, I'm going to blow up all the, the board, and they can get some kind of an additional benefit, you can play something that's like, oh, well, hey, before that goes off, I'm going to play this thing and just throw a regeneration shield on my entire creature base. So my spell's going to happen, your spell's going to happen, and then my board's going to be safe, and you're not going to get the additional benefit for my board because it didn't go away. The indestructible capability gets around both Wrath and Damnation options, but it also gets around all the newer options because they're indestructible. Which is where my next point comes in. I really feel like white needs better removal options. I would not state that white needs more removal options. White has, if there's one thing white does really well, it's move something out of the way. It's got spells that bounce things. It's got spells that exile things. It's got spells that destroy things. Most of that is specific to creatures, which is a little odd for some of those options. Some of that is catered around artifacts and enchantments. So it's a little wonky. I personally feel like the color white needs more effects like Settle the Wreckage. Settle the Wreckage is 2 generic white, so it's Wrath of God cost, but it's instant speed. In addition to being instant speed, it exiles all of the attacking creatures. So if it's somebody else's turn and they attack you with at least one creature and then they attack somebody else with a whole bunch of other creatures, you can cast Settle. So that's the other restriction, is Settle the Wreckage can only be played if the player who is attacking you with at least one creature. They can attack you with more, but they have to attack you with at least one. That's the only downside to it. But it doesn't destroy. It exiles all of the attacking creatures. So that's great because it exiles. Kind of the next portion's a little not so fun. The rest of that ability is that the controller of all the creatures that just got exiled gets to search their deck for a basic land and put it in play tapped for each one of those creatures. So you potentially ramp them to the high heavens, so to speak. But it does exile. So if they're attacking you with a whole bunch of creatures that are indestructible, or with one creature that makes the rest of their board indestructible, and you play Settle the Wreckage, all of their creatures are exiled, so indestructible doesn't matter. So I feel like the options for getting rid of creatures that are indestructible or can be regenerated or have auto regeneration capabilities is exile, or reducing the toughness to 0 or less through a negative component, like a -X. You can't reduce the toughness to 0 or less through damage. It has to be through a -X toughness effect. You know, it could be like -0, -15, something like that. But those are really the only two options against things that are indestructible or have regenerate, or could be regenerated, is exile, primarily exile, or reduce the toughness to 0 or less through a negative option. Which is where I feel like white needs more effects like Settle the Wreckage. I really feel like Settle the Wreckage was, during its time, Settle the Wreckage was an okay card. But I feel like it was really, it's really been slept on as an option, just because the requirement to be able to play it is you have to be one of the defending players. Not necessarily the only defending player, but you have to be one of the defending players. And as long as you get left to last, that's going to be an upward battle, because even if you get to keep your Settle the Wreckage and one player takes out all the other players at the table other than you and waits to leave you to last, they can kind of play around you having Settle, or they can gun it, let you ramp them, and then play more stuff, and then now you need another Settle. But you know, that being said, there are other things that players don't play anymore. Card called Krosan Grip. It's 2 generic and a green. It's an instant. It has an old ability called Split Second. So the Split Second ability states, when this spell goes on the stack, the only things that can go on the stack above it are activated mana abilities. And a mana ability is considered any ability whose outcome generates mana. And the wording on that is important because it says activate abilities can't go on top of it unless they're mana abilities. It doesn't say anything about triggered abilities. There are lines that you can play that get around the split second rule that it's based entirely on triggered abilities. But typically you have to use some kind of an activate ability to get all those triggers to happen. Again, those activate abilities have to be mana abilities, and those are your options for that are very slim pickings. I'm not sure what other cards I haven't seen people play a whole lot of. Most decks, most people don't play any kind of fog effects. Not the white ones, not the green ones, not the black ones. I don't know if there's any red ones. I don't think there's any blue ones. And most people also don't play bounce spells. Blue's got a lot of like board-based bounce abilities that a lot of decks don't play. A lot of people who play blue don't play them. If you do, you're probably playing Cyclonic Rift, and that's about it. Cyclonic Rift is good, but Evacuation, Whelming Wave, Flood of Tears. Blue has a lot of other options that bounce things that can also give you as a player a benefit. Evacuation's personally my favorite because it's 5 mana and it bounces all the creatures, so it's not a complete hindrance. It does affect your board state, but it's also an instant. It's my favorite blue bounce spell because I'm not my actual favorite blue bounce spell can't be played in Commander because it's banned. But that's okay because that particular spell bounces everything. It literally says return each permanent to its owner's hand. And it costs 6 mana instead of 5. So, that's, as somebody who plays green predominantly with blue, maybe another color, I'll if Evacuation's my best option, I'll stick with Evacuation versus playing that other thing. Even though I really want to play that other thing because I've bought a number of products that other card came in that I never got to play because it's not Commander legal. It's on the ban list in Commander, and that's fine, I guess. I would love to be able to play it, but it's never coming off that ban list. It's 1 extra mana. It's still an instant. And it bounces everything, not just creatures or artifacts or enchantments. The way it's worded, it includes lands. So it's literally, if it's in play, it's going back to your hand. So I can understand that. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else. Yeah, I think that's about it for today. I'm gonna hope the wall critters, the exterior wall critters, stay outside. That is something that we've been meaning to handle. That unfortunately, me having a full-time job and other people having other commitments they have to honor as well makes it difficult. That's neither here nor there. This has been Cardboard Kitchen. I am your host, Dan, Chef Dan, Chef Boyardee, whatever you want to call it. If you like the content, hit the thumbs up, hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, share the video with your friends, share the video in various communities that you are a part of where people enjoy the content of Magic the Gathering, especially if they love Commander, because that's what I try to talk about is Commander. Yes. And have a wonderful evening.